Corey, thank you so much for coming on the Running Deep podcast. How I want to start this off, usually, with guests, endurance athletes, anyone that comes on, I want to start at the start, and sort of work our way through your timeline to what you've done. But you're an exception to the rule, so I just want to start. I want to start off with the world's strongest marathon. So you have the world record for the world's strongest marathon. So if you want to dive into that straight away, let's go.
Yeah, so back in, I guess, the whole big story of how I found out about the world's strongest marathon was Ross Edgley, who we were just discussing, came out with the world's fittest book, someone that I looked up to. And I had that book sitting there for probably 3 or 4 years and never really looked at it. Yeah. As I went down this bad path that we'll get into a little bit later, and I reopened the book and found the book and started reading it. And I was getting fitter. I wasn't at my fittest. And I said to myself that I want to be a part of that world. And
the endurance.
The strength and endurance world in just pushing the body to the absolute limit. Which so many of us do, like anyone who runs an ultra marathon is like that. So and my hat goes off to them. But with the world's strongest marathon, it was something that I had looked at so long ago, and it's resurfaced when I started to get fit again. And I said to myself, yeah, I can do this. I went out to my family in the kitchen, told them, yep, I'm going to do the world's strongest marathon. My dad's like, there's a lot of plan that goes into that. He's like a realist. So he's like, there's a lot of logistics to go into this. So please just think about it first. And I was like, yeah, okay. Well, tomorrow we'll go down to the park and I'll tow the car and we'll see how we go. Yeah. And so I got a ratchet strap just out of the back of the ute, attached it to the ute. It was probably about, I think we worked it out, it was like a 2.4 ton ute, so another 1,000 kilos over what I pulled on the day. And I pulled it for about 500 meters, not even. And I said, yeah, I can do this. And my dad goes, you just pulled it for 500 meters. My wife was there, my stepmom was there. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, you just pulled it for 500 meters. Maybe do a bit more training, and then before you go telling everyone you're going to do it. Yeah. And then that night I was up on Instagram, and we took a couple photos of me doing it that day, and I've just uploaded and just said, in 2021 I'll be completing the world's strongest marathon, breaking the world record.
And which you did.
So I broke the world record by I think it was by 3 hours and something minutes, 3.5 hours, or just over 3.5 hours.
Because I know Ross did it in 16 or 17.
I think he did it in 19.
So shit. Okay, so I know he pulled a mini.
Yeah, he pulled a mini coupe. It was 1.4 ton. Yeah. I think it was 19.5 hours he did in 1935. I think.
And then there was, memory. I think because I know there's a second guy. I don't know who that second guy was, because there was another guy who did
English fella.
Yeah. Yeah. He did it, and I think he did 16 or 17.
Yeah, so there's a bit of he did 17 or something hours. But he pulled a 700 kilo car. Oh. Yeah, me and him, I was being really nice, but we kind of had words online. Oh. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And then, so you pulled the 1.4 ton car, and that was, because I watched that, I got tagged in it.
Sorry, the second guy you're talking about, he actually did it in 11 hours. Yeah. And I was so amazed. I was like, holy shit, 11 hours. Okay. How the hell did he do that? That is pushing, that is really getting going. And then I watched these videos of him, and he's calling out Ross Edgley, calling him a bedwetter and stuff. So I sent him a message and I said, it's a little bit disrespectful, this guy's really kind of paving the way in this space. Yeah. And he's I look at him as kind of a pioneer of this random ultra athlete stuff. And I said to him, I find it a bit disrespectful that you would even say that. I was like, just out of curiosity, how heavy was your car? He's like, 700 kilos.
So half of
what Ross was pulling.
Yeah,
and he got half the time that Ross was pulling. But so kind of makes sense.
Either way, so you pulled a 1.4 ton ute around was it a car park?
Yeah, so it was Jemison Park. Yeah.
And that took you
16 hours and 12 minutes, I think. Yeah.
So, like, again, I just want to find out, just to paint a picture to the audience of who you are. There would have been times during that where you would have wanted to quit.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So how I want to paint this is, you know, we can come back to the marathon, but for you, no one just ends up doing what you do. As you know, you did the triathlon. Was it the tree man?
Yeah, I attempted the tree man. Yeah, we didn't do that successfully.
Because that was injury to.
Yeah, so something happened with the nervous system. So medically, just couldn't go through.
And that's fair enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, you know, nobody just goes and or is born to go pull a fucking 1.4 ton vehicle behind them for a marathon distance.
Yeah.
So let's go back and paint that picture of how you became this person, this endurance athlete. And you know, from our talks before, you know, you explained that growing up, you experienced some things kids shouldn't experience. You know, when it comes.
Yeah, I went like my personal lifestyle growing up was okay. Like I had divorced parents, which, you know, 50% of the parents are divorced these days anyway for kids. So, you know, just like any other kid, any other second kid, I had divorced parents, and I had to moved away from my dad when I lived with my mum. And I was quite an active kid. I was playing sport, played a high level of rugby league, and just fell out of love with it when I was about 17 years old. And I found drugs and alcohol. And as most people do, but I think myself, I have a very addictive personality, and when I want to do something, or if I find something that I enjoy, because at the time I actually enjoyed it. You know, I wasn't looking at those people that I hung out with at that time and go, oh, this is the worst thing that I'm doing, and then just putting them in my mouth, putting these pills in my mouth, or putting something up my nose. You know, it's like I knew that it was wrong, but I enjoyed doing it at that time, and I'm not one to shy away from admitting that. But I came to the realization that that lifestyle wasn't for me over a period of time. It was probably about, I'd say it was about maybe a 2-month period where I would have these big nights, and following the following morning, or real early hours of the morning, I would be on this come down, and I would just be reevaluating my life and what I'm doing. And during this space of like 17 to 18, maybe a little bit older than 18, I'd put on almost 40 kilos, and I was just practically obese. And I wouldn't say I was addicted to the sense where I needed to go to rehab and stuff like that, because I didn't. But if I hadn't have stopped when I did, I think it was definitely going to get to that point. And basically, there was one big weekend we had, and I remember it was a golf day. It started on a golf day that was on a Thursday. And I hadn't slept for about 4 days. And I was on a come down.
So you were a binge.
Yeah, just on a massive bender.
Yeah.
And stupidly enough, when I was on this come down, I was driving home. And I pulled up to the side of a train station, and I was reevaluating. Like, I broke down and just started crying, and I fully thought about going and just ending my life right then and there. And the last person I called, who I didn't really have a good relationship with, was my dad. Didn't have a good relationship with him growing up at all. And I called him, and he answered the phone. And if he didn't answer the phone, I don't know where I'd be today. But he answered. Within the next couple of days, I moved all the way out to the Blue Mountains with him. And my lifestyle changed from there. So the whole family dynamic at the Blue Mountains, they're all relatively fit and healthy people. And I wasn't around the environment that I was in, I guess, of bad influences. People who I thought were my mates weren't actually my mates. They weren't looking out for my best interest. But you learn that as you grow, as every young adult does. And then I just started this journey of getting fit again. Shredding weight was quite difficult for me. I put on weight very easy. So I got down, I was sitting at, I think I topped the scales at like 127 or something like that. Like, it was pretty big. And it wasn't muscle.
Just fat. Yeah, okay, gotcha.
And as I moved out to the Blue Mountains, started doing small runs, and I couldn't even run a K. And we have this thing called the River Run, which is a 6K loop, and I couldn't even get up one side, which is like 2.5 Ks, 3 Ks. Yeah. And couldn't even finish that. And my goal was to finish that. My goal was to go around the block of our house. And I remember having all these small incremental goals. And I just started to get fitter, started to go to the gym twice a day. And then all of a sudden I just started getting into ultra running. And I remember I was... The reason why I got into ultra running is I fell in love with this feeling of pain and hurt. Don't know where it comes from. But my old man one morning, he
No, so with your old man, because I remember you said, and what you sent me through is you didn't really grow up with him at all.
Yeah. So I did grow up with him. Like he was meant to come down and visit us for dinners every Wednesday, and he did and stuff like that. Every second weekend we're meant to go to him. But I don't know, I just felt like that because specific things that people had said in my life that I never really had the father figure that someone should. Gotcha. So the relationship, I had a father there that wanted to put in the time and effort with me, but I didn't want, because of certain things that I was told as a child, I didn't want to put the time and effort in with him.
Got you, okay.
So it was back on me. Yep. So that whole thing, like my dad wanted to be there constantly. He's a great human being. But me as a child, and children are easily manipulated when you tell them specific things. So, and then I went through that, and so back to that story is where I was just laying in bed, and it was 4 a.m. in the morning, and my old man said, "I'm sick of you being a fat shit. Get up, you're coming to do a half marathon with me." Yeah. And so I went and ran a half marathon with no training. It was probably around 120, 118 kilos there.
How long did that roughly take you for that?
Just over 2 hours. I remember I couldn't walk. I fell to the ground after.
Yeah.
And it was I think it was like 1 degree or -1 or something.
Shit.
Yeah, it was snowing in the mountains when we went and did it.
Yeah.
And from there, I just fell in love with it. And then I did UTA 50.
Well, I'm guessing your dad's pretty fit. If he just goes, we're doing a half.
Oh yeah, Dad's relatively fit. He does ultras and stuff like that.
Yeah. Like, okay, cool.
I joke around with him to say because he never trains. He's starting to train now, but he never trained. So I say that he does 1 year, I think it might have been 3 years ago, he did 50 not 50, what am I going on about? He's 50 years old. He did an ultra marathon every month. So 12 ultra marathons. And I joked around because he never trains and never trained leading into it. Just went to go and did it. Yeah. And I said to him, "Oh yeah, so he has a race, 1 week recovery, 3-week taper, and then races again."
I guess that's somewhat training. Yeah. So what would he like? Is he doing like 100Ks, 100 miles, or is it just sort of
all of that year he did anywhere from 50 to 80. I think the biggest one he did might have been 80. Yeah.
And just
yeah,
maybe
but
that's where you get them.
It could have been like my uncle. He's pretty serious ultra runner. I think he's done 100 milers multiple times and stuff like that.
So it's like a family. Like it's a family.
Yeah. Like they're the only two really that do it in our family. But I think there is a big I don't know. There's maybe something mental in our family that just makes us want to push that hard. Not too sure.
Shit. But that's amazing.
They think I'm crazy. I think I'm like, oh yeah, they were crazy, but how can I level up
in comparison? Yeah, for what you have done. So you finished the half marathon. You've collapsed. You're 127 kilos. You're quotations a fat shit. Mm. So and you fall in love with that feeling of accomplishment. I'm guessing at the finish line you've gone, okay. So then does that spark you to go, all right? Like, did you just go from 21K to I'm going to be an ultra marathon man? How do you paint that picture for the audience?
I went from the 21K and I thought, shit, is this what that feels like? And just started training and running and done another half marathon. Didn't really get that same feeling. And then I saw UTA 50 come up. My family enters UTA 50, so I went into UTA 50, got that same buzz as I finished the 21K. Okay, what can I do next? Then I ended up doing a Roll the Dice Ultra, which is just a local invite-only race that we have in the Blue Mountains. And, I ended up doing, I think I ran 106Ks or something, 104Ks or something.
So what's special? Like, because I remember, this is a while back, I heard something to do with actual dice.
Yeah. So Roll the Dice Ultra is something the dice master Ben Berryman he cooks up every year. It changes every year. We don't know, but the loops change every single year. But basically, the first year there was I think there was 6 5K loops. But you didn't know where they were. So we started at 9 o'clock at night from this one central hub, and you roll your dice, and you get a map. Yeah. And you have to go and do your loop. So you're trying. If you don't know the mountains, like
it's hard,
especially when you're going out on the trails and stuff like that. So it's a bit difficult, and it's just a fun social. Like it's not a proper race. Like it's just a fun social thing.
Gotcha.
Cool. Yeah, it's not like they have a winner and like it's a UTMB qualifier and stuff. It's just a group of like 40 people, of community of people that like ultra running, that just get together and have fun.
Yeah, cool. Now, so you do the 50K, because I just want to lead into, a few people have done 50Ks. To some people, they think that's absolutely crazy. Yeah. And then, what was it? You did 100K. And then, now this is where I want to bring it into the strongest marathon. There must have been a jump. Like, I'm just trying to paint the picture in my head to understand it, because it's such a massive jump. Just to go.
I guess if I try and paint it to you, is like no amount of training would be able to get someone through that comfortably. Like, unless you're a full-time athlete. Yeah. I don't think there's any amount of training that could get you through that comfortably without training full time. Like, it's almost impossible.
So during that marathon effort, at what point? Because I find this interesting amongst all athletes that I get on here or talk to. That point of wanting to quit. There are some people I know who do marathons, and that you hit the wall. You would have hit the wall many times during yours, but you hit that wall, and some people just don't get it. Some people just run all the way through. I know the elite athletes might get it, but at what point did you was there a point during that effort where you went, fuck, like I don't think I can finish this, and have to, do David Goggins reaching for the cookies in the cookie jar?
See, I don't think... I had a lot of doubters leading into the world's strongest marathon, because especially around me, although they didn't say anything, they told me after that, including sponsors that said, "Oh, we didn't think you could do it," because I had only pulled the car 15 Ks leading into the world's strongest marathon, which I had this full marathon prep where my final car pull would be 38 Ks, so I'll know what it feels like, and then I just come into the 42 3 weeks later. And that never really worked out. Never went to plan. I was always sick. We were always figuring things out, how to be the most comfortable. And it never worked out. But wanting to quit for me wasn't an option, no matter what time I was getting. Mm-hmm. Of course, I was checking the time and stuff to see where I was at. But I knew that if I hit this next lap within 15, 20 minutes, I'm within time. Yeah. So there was never really a point. There was never really a point of quitting or hitting the wall, but during the world's strongest marathon. But I had a lot of issues, but the issues that I put up with over ultra runs, like, so the first, I think I was 7 Ks in, and both of my legs started cramping from the hips down. Yeah, 7 Ks in, and I pulled my old man over. I was like, "I'm already cramping, eh?" And he's like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Fuck." He goes, "What do you want to do?" And I'm not quitting, but just letting you know that I need like magnesium, rub, all of that kind of stuff. So I need to keep all that handy, which we had a whole team around, which was really good, but never at any point was quitting an option. Mm-hmm. World record or not, I was there to finish.
Regardless,
finish regardless, and raise awareness for child abuse. So.
And that's another one. That's something, I want to touch on, like, why child abuse? What? Because right now, mental health is the thing everyone's doing. And when I saw you were doing it for that cause, I went, oh, okay, that's something that's different. But that's not something you just go, I'm gonna raise money for that. That's something you've thought about and gone with. So if you don't mind me asking, what?
My wife was abused as a child, and I never really knew. At the start of the World's Strongest Marathon, it was a very selfish reason, me doing the World's Strongest Marathon. I just wanted to do it for a personal feat. I didn't want to raise money. I just wanted to go and do it and say, "Yep, this is what I'm made. Show the world what I'm made of." And then my son, during the middle of my training or the start of my training, my wife gave birth to my son, and then all this trauma started coming out from PTSD, from what happened to her as a child, and that's when I really was like, started doing research to find out ways as a partner, how can I help her, and I couldn't find anything, which was scary to me, and I finally just was like, you know what, I'm gonna raise money for Child Safe Australia, who basically start from the grassroots, which is something that's quite important to me now, having kids of my own. I look at them just thinking, how the freaking hell can someone do that? So, body awareness through children, people think it's like, and one thing, Kent, that I found is I really struggled to get mainstream media attention because of what I was raising money for. It was too sensitive, which is the problem.
Don't give me the shit about that, because
that's the problem. I was happy that Channel 7 came out. But they didn't. If you watch the thing, I'm 99% sure they didn't say anything about how much money we raised and what for.
So I put a podcast out.
Conspiracy theory, the top.
We could go down that rabbit hole. I did a podcast a couple of weeks ago because a friend of mine, this is just common knowledge between our group of mates, and I'll put it out there publicly. Same thing happened to me as a kid. Now, when I bring that up around any other adults, they fucking freak the fuck out and go, "Oh my God, no, don't say that." It's like, why not? That's one of the fucking major reasons I'm fucked up, and why, what's the statistics of
it's every like 1 in 4 children or 1 in 5
1
children.
1 in 4 fucking children. And it's like, but then no one wants to talk about it. No one's raising money for it. Even though they know it's there, it's just this taboo subject. So along the lines, you're paving that way for people to talk about it. And I'm going to raise money for Bravehearts when I do my 100-miler in June. Just so I've got something to attach onto. Running it just for me, as you've just explained, running it for me is not, that's not enough. It's running it for you. It seems like you did it for your partner.
It wasn't for me. It was more for my partner, and I don't want any other family to go through what she had to go through. What my family was currently going through. We have the documentary that's currently getting made, but when you see it, like, I'm standing up on stage, I'd never spoken about it publicly.
And she's okay with you?
She's okay now with me talking, but I'd never spoken about it on a microphone in front of 200 people or whatever. And that was like, man. And I was like, oh, this is like, I'm in shock. And I'm seeing other people cry, and I'm like, oh, and all of it just came over me. And it's just a crazy thing how it still gets, to this day, people get slapped on the wrist and it's stuck under the rug. Like, you shouldn't be talking about it. Like old Uncle Johnny, he wouldn't do that. No, he's a good person. And it's like, okay, well,
you did.
Yeah.
And then that stems...
Are you asking the right questions? And exactly. The real thing why I linked up with Child Safe, I'm big in sport as well. Like, I love sport. I think sport's really good for children. And basically they go into all sporting clubs and say, what are you doing to keep your children safe? Here's our basically plan of, and they send it out to all parents as well at schools, of the questions that you should be asking when you put your kids in sport, and the answers that the club should be giving. If the club doesn't give you these specific answers, then you shouldn't go with that club.
I think it all ties in with mental health as well. Like, there is definitely statistics. I know correlation isn't causation, but if you look at mental health or depression, anxiety, and that fucking a lot of that stems from that, but no one wants to talk about it. And that's something that will change. And again, even some people find it super uncomfortable, and some people like myself and you just will talk about it. I think it's the older generation that are really uncomfortable with talking about it, but I think they're uncomfortable about talking about emotions and
I think they are. Of course. And I still struggle to talk about my emotions as a male, because I was told as a kid, just toughen up. And like, me. I don't like personally talking about my feelings to other people. And that's just who I am. I like to soak it up and just go for a run and let it out. And like that's it. It's done. But yeah, I don't know. It's funny how everyone reacts different, and I think as you said, mental health it covers a really broad spectrum of issues that happen. So there's child abuse and trauma and all of that coincide with all mental health.
But you know, you're doing the work and you're getting it out there. That's the thing. And if you I know you're the type of person that won't stop, but you're getting that message out there, and I think that is going to help your wife heal from that trauma, and you're helping that by doing this, because you're speaking for the people that can't talk themselves. Yeah, definitely.
I had an argument with Channel 7 producer, and I was surprised that Channel 7 actually came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was massive. I had an argument with him on the phone for this specific reason, and he goes, "It's not me. This is the thing that set me off." He goes, "I don't make the rules. I'm just being told what to do. I really wish I could have you on." And I was like, so at least you told me it is the higher ups.
And that's another podcast in itself. So to pivot this, you know, you're a husband, you've got 2 children, you're a family man. How do you fit what you do into a family life? Because that is something I don't struggle with. I think most people who have families who listen to this ask that exact same question. How did you fit in just training in general and the training you're doing now with a family?
Yeah, so the training for the world's strongest marathon was quite difficult. I was getting up at like 1 a.m. in the morning.
And you're still working full time?
Still working full time. Probably wasn't going to sleep till about 9:30, 10 o'clock, and getting up at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. to go training. And then my body just decided to break down during the world's strongest marathon. Not during the world's strongest marathon, but about 2 months out, I started to get real bad bacteria build up in my stomach.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was hospitalized from it, just from my body not being able to digest the food that I was eating because of how much stress my body was under. And I just needed to take a break. I took 3 weeks off, I think, or something like that.
Just no exercise at all. Yeah,
just going for walks and stuff. Cool. And I think I had a couple of days where I was literally doing nothing, and like 2 weeks of getting back into it. Yeah. And I never had from about 2 months out, I never had a proper big training session leading into it. But for me, trying to fit everything in, like for the world's strongest marathon, for instance, that was something that I had my heart set on, and put it out there to the world and all of that for a very long time. And that was something that I sacrificed my sleep to get. And it's the exact same thing now for this next event that I'm training for. It's the exact same thing, just sacrificing my sleep. I just think that I don't have the privilege of being able to do this full time yet. It's been a bit difficult, and I'm sure that time will come through proving myself in this space. And I think that, I don't know, man, I think it's difficult to... I had this conversation with my coach literally a week ago of, I'm starting my own business now. I'm working full time doing that, trying to train, make sure my wife's looking after her mental health. She gets time to go to the gym, raising the 2 kids as well. And I said to him that I think I'm just going to have to, I need to just train when I can, because, I'm still sacrificing my sleep on some sessions, but the world's strongest marathon fucked me up for a very long time. A good couple. I've only just from maybe the back end of last year started to come okay. Get good from it. Yeah. So like leading up to the Tree Man, I didn't actually realize how deteriorated and how fucked my body was. And I went into the Tree Man thinking that I was okay, and I wasn't. Yeah.
And how far? So that's another one. How far did you get into that, and what exactly happened when you just pulled the pin?
70 Ks was it? 70 Ks into the ride. Yeah. So I did the swim with ease. I wanted to get out in 45 minutes. I think we got out in like 40. And then I think it was 40, was it? I don't know. I don't remember. I think it was might have been an hour 40. I don't know. I was pulling a log, so I don't know. And
how heavy? That was like a...
The log was 45 kilos, so 90 pounds. Yeah. Yeah. Jumped on the ride. I'd never had any issues on the ride at all during training. Yeah. Use that exact same harness that I always used. Got to about 50 Ks in and I couldn't feel my fingers. Like I started to get pins and needles and that was okay.
Yeah, okay.
I was dealing with that. That was fine. Said it's a little bit uncomfortable, but I'll have a break, let it settle down, jump on the bike again. And they were just getting more and more severe. And I think it was about maybe 65 Ks in, I'm not too sure. And I started to get real bad pains in my wrist. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and shooting pains.
Like you weren't doing anything different. You were just
I was just riding the bike.
Shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, we had a medical guy there, and basically he was explaining that this thing has so much force coming down to these two nerves that come down either side of your neck and down your traps, that it could potentially, every time you're going over a bump or you're trying to turn the handles, it's tugging. And that's why you're getting these shooting pains come up. And permanent nerve damage at 24 isn't something that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
So I decided to pull the pin on that. We were going to revise it and do it, but we've come up with a bigger and better plan for this next event.
So no word on that. Just keep that under wraps.
Oh no, we can announce it today if you want.
I'll go for it.
Yeah, it's going to be the world's strongest Ironman now. Yeah. So it's going to be we're going to be pulling. It's either going to be a tinny or a kayak. We're not 100% sure yet. Depends on the location.
Yeah.
If we secure a nice big swimming pool, we'll be doing it with a kayak with someone sitting in it.
Yeah.
For the swim, which will be around 120 kilos roughly. We'll get a bike trailer attached to the bike, put about 120 to 150 kilos in there.
Yeah, I was going to ask because lobbing a tray on your back for 180 Ks.
Yeah. So now we're putting it in the trailer.
Cool.
But it's not going to be a tree. I think it might be bricks or I don't know.
Because it's still the strongest.
It's still the strongest. Yeah. So as long as we got that weight between 120 to 150 kilos, and then we'll pull the car to finish for the marathon.
You're going to pull the car?
Yeah. It's going to be a bit lighter car.
Yeah.
It's going to be, I think, around 800 kilos, 900 kilos.
Shit.
Yeah, we'll pull the car to finish.
Just logistically, that sounds like a nightmare in itself.
It's almost fully planned. Yeah. Just got to get insurances and stuff sorted.
Yeah.
We're just waiting to lock in dates. I think we're looking at the 9th of September.
This
year, yeah.
Holy shit. I thought this is like...
No, this is this year, yeah. 9th of September this year.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah, so basically for my training, I guess, we're implementing this scheme, I guess, of strength and endurance of training for the Elephant Trail 200.
Okay.
And obviously everyone knows what happens when you hike heaps of hills and run heaps of hills. Your legs get stronger and stronger and stronger. So that'll help me on the bike and the run, no doubt. So we're basically going into this leading into something bigger.
Fuck, that's massive.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm having issue. This is a personal thing that I'm going to ask you because you seem to have the aerobic capacity to do so. So strength training and being aerobically fit just for some reason don't work.
Yeah.
I don't know the science behind it. Like I've tried to read certain scientific journals and articles, but how are you feeling aerobic? What's a normal run for you during the week? Like what's your
my normal week? Yeah. My normal week normally looks like about an hour and a half, 2 hours on the Monday. Yeah, Monday or Tuesday, and then I got a hill session on Thursday. I'll do a 1 hour. Oh, might be on a Wednesday. Sorry, I'll do a hill session. Yeah. On the Friday, I'll do just a 1 hour, half an hour recovery run, then head into a big run on the weekend. Yeah. But we're getting lots of elevation in. Yeah. So I strength train once a day as well.
And you're doing you normal like powerlifting style.
Yeah, I try to mix it up. I'm currently I just like exploring with that kind of stuff. Yeah. I specifically was like for the world's strongest marathon, I was a powerlifting and strongman program. Yeah. But for this one, I've been actually trialing Matt Fraser's new program, the WHPO, I think it is. Okay. Work hard or something like that. But I've just been testing that out, just seeing how it feels, just been having fun with it. I'm not I'm not too strict on how my strength work plays into it. But yeah, I don't know. Like I'm not the strongest guy out there, like by far. But
okay, let's put it into perspective. Like what's
yeah, but
what's
I think
your three lifts?
Pardon?
What's your like heaviest 3 lifts that you could probably do right now?
I can do 170 for squat. Like it's strong, but it's not like the strongest.
but you can still pull, like, you're still aerobically fit. Like, that's just insane that you can, like...
Right now, 240 deadlift, and my bench would probably be around 125. Actually, I haven't done bench in a while.
But, like, in comparison to the normal, like, runner or such, like, that is triple their body weight.
Like, yeah. I do meet people at the gym, and they're like, oh, so I'm like, oh, you're going to come for a run with me soon? Like, the guys at the gym I train at, they're like, no, I'm not running. And I'm like, oh, you got to come run a marathon with me. They're like, no, I'm not running a marathon.
Yeah.
And they can't understand how I can run a marathon, but then the day before do 150 kilo squat or 120 kilo squats for reps. I know they just. I don't know. I don't know. Just don't really. In the big picture of things, people like pulling a car. You need to be so strong. Blah blah. I think I think when you were going for that period of time pulling a car, anyone's body is going to break down. Mm-hmm. You know, like if you got a strong man to do it and an endurance athlete to do it, they can probably both finish it, but in different times. Yeah. It's just literally once you get past that point of, you know, maybe 3 hours or something,
it's just all
it's all mental.
So would you say, you know, just putting everything together in my head, would you say that technically that phone call to your dad saved your life?
Definitely, 100%. 100%. And I always say to my dad, I'll never be able to take back all the things I said to him as a child. Yeah. Because, like, I can't fathom, now being a father, I can't fathom my own child saying the things that I used to say to my dad.
Like, this is just something that comes up regularly with my mates and whatnot, is people like you, me, who are more self-aware in that sense, are breaking literal generational trauma.
Yeah.
You know, that a child's life, I can say that you can understand because you're a father, but, you know, a child in that age, it's a perfect example is you. You were told things by other people, and then suddenly you don't like your dad.
Yeah.
He hasn't really done it. He's always wanted to be there for you, but you've been told, so you've been molded like that. And you're breaking that by trying to be the best father you can possibly be to your children.
Yeah, 100%. And I always say to people that he was the most amazing dad that was invisible to me by choice.
Yeah.
And that was just because I didn't want anything to do with him because of the things I was told. And it just makes me sad when I look at my own son and I think, fire out, if he ever said that stuff to me, I wouldn't even know what to do.
Exactly.
But to keep on showing up every single day, every single week for your children just goes to show what type of a man my dad was when I was still treating him like that.
Maybe that's, you know, this could be a subconscious thing that you've brought on for you, that you've seen that in that quality of just never giving up in your dad. And that's now rubbed off to you, and then that's going to rub off to your children. So you've literally started a new timeline. Yeah,
I definitely do think about that, and I also think about, you know, a lot of the things my dad did as a child, when I was a child, is affecting me now. You know, all of the health and fitness stuff, I guess, that he did, and all of that kind of stuff. It really, I guess, passes on. But the thing I really want to do is like. Oh, me and my wife had this discussion the other day. It was about we said the main three things that you'd want if you were to die today, what would you want your children to remember you for? And I said three complete different things to my wife. My wife said, I wanted to say she was a good mom. She looked after me and she like cared for others. And I said, I wanted them to think that I was a hard worker. I never gave up and I always chased my dreams. And it's like complete different answers. Like hers are all about motherhood and mine's all about, I guess, them looking up to me. I don't know.
No, I understand what you're saying, but you know, I think in a roundabout way, this whole experience for you is like a blessing. Like, definitely. You know, imagine if your dad didn't pick up, you wouldn't be here doing it right now. But he did. Yeah. It's like I look at everything that happens to us is happening for us.
Yep.
And you've been struggling. You go, yep, I've had enough. He picks up, you know, he's your estranged dad, but he still turns up for you when you call. And that call literally changed your life. Yep. And, you know, of course everything else falls in, but that call and that another common theme that comes up is just reaching out.
Yep.
And you reached out when you were in your darkest moment.
Yeah. And I don't even know what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Reaching out to someone that I didn't think was the closest to me.
What did you expect from that? What was the?
I honestly don't know. I don't even know why I rang him. I was still high at the time.
How insane is that though?
Yeah.
Like you go, I'm gonna go fucking kill myself. 1 second, I'm gonna call my dad.
Yeah.
And he picks up and he just life changed, done.
Yeah.
Like
I know.
That is insane.
I know. I say to him, I owe him my life.
That's beautiful in a way. That's really something.
Yeah.
So would you, of course that changed your life, but would you say running or just sports in general is the thing that, or let's just say exercise as a whole is the thing that is holding your life together, or not holding your life together, but
without exercise, I don't know what I'd do with myself, and I think I'd be a horrible father without exercise. I think I'd be a horrible husband without exercise. Exercise now is like so embedded in what I do that if I don't get it done, or if I, miss X amount of training sessions, it's not by choice that I turn grumpy. It's just I haven't got my fix. I haven't gotten my fix of hurting.
Yeah.
That week. And I think another thing that really shaped me now is becoming a young father. Like at 21, finding out you're gonna have a child is like.
How old are you now?
Me, 24.
I was the exact same age when I had Lily.
Yeah.
But that rocked me.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
You were 24?
I was 21.
21, yeah.
So.
It's hard. Like, I had a lot of people say to me, like, a lot of people that were my age at the same time, like, oh, your life's ruined, blah, blah. Even, yeah. I had a couple older people even say, like, you don't want to do it, your life's ruined. How do you know you love this girl, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I love this girl. I've got to make her my wife and I'm going to have this baby. And I said, I've always wanted to be a young father. My life's just beginning right now. It's like I feel like this had all happened for a reason, and the people who told me those things are no longer in my life. I keep a circle very, very small, very, very tight, and I don't have time for people who are negative and just bring other people down.
Now, like, what would you say to the young father or young parent out there who is listening to this right now? To how do you navigate that? How do you get through? What's something you could tell them to give them that boost? Because it's fucking hard. Like being so young, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Sleepless nights, you don't have that support network that you would when you were a bit older. Yeah, because everyone's out still partying. So you've had to. How old's your partner?
She's a year younger than me, so she's 23. Yeah.
So she's 20. You're 21. You guys have to navigate parenthood together, and you haven't even. You didn't have that father. You did have the father figure, but you're doing this by yourself. Yeah, and of course, her friends are sort of. I guess females are a bit different, but men especially. Yeah,
like don't get me wrong, we had family and stuff, and I had a couple mates that were older, in their mid to late 20s that I had known from growing up that had kids. We don't really connect that much now, but at the time, those were the people that I went to because I was like, you have kids, like, and you're similar age to me because, I don't know. All of the old heads as well that I spoke to was like, you sure you want to do this? And I'm like, like I know I want to do this. I didn't come to you to ask if I want to do this. I come to you, how do I do it?
I don't think there is a how. I think you just
wing it.
Wing it.
Yeah. And I think as long as you have a good relationship with your partner and stuff, I think the big thing that has worked for me and Brooke is communication. I feel like for any young family out there, or even old family, like, if you're having kids late and you still want to get your training done, like, I think communication is key of this is where I'm going to train. What are you going to do for your mental health, and what are you going to do for your training if your partner trains as well? I think communication and just being able to talk to each other openly, say, I need this. Like, I won't be a good, not that I won't be a good person. I won't be, I feel like I can't fulfill my role as a father if I don't get these.
I know exactly what you said. Like,
yeah,
I had the issue. I've been told a lot that with my training and that I'm selfish.
Yep.
But in turn, if I'm selfish and working on myself, that in turn makes me a better person. So I'm a better person for these people.
Yep.
So they're better.
Yep.
Then I'm being what is it to be? selfless, you have to be selfish.
Yep. The amount of times I've been called selfish is
but a lot of people don't. No one fucking gets that.
Yeah, the people who are calling you selfish are the people that you probably shouldn't be closest to, is what I've found out.
You know,
because they don't understand. Like those are the kind of people in my life that I go, okay, well, you don't understand. That's okay, and that's fine. But I'm just not going to discuss anything like that with you again. And please don't bring that up to me again because I'm not selfish.
You know, it's not like, again, you hit on the head. They don't understand why you do it because they haven't done it anything close to themselves. So the training you're putting in,
even a lot of people that get worried about what I'm actually doing.
But it's not worried for you. It's worried for the. See, this is the whole David Goggins thing where that comes up, where people go, "He's crazy for doing it." Yeah. It's like, you're crazy not for doing it, because the only reason they're worried is because it's a reflection of themselves. Yeah. If they can't do it, then you can't do it. That's all it is. Oh, you can't do. You can't do the world's strongest marathon. Yeah. You can, but they're going, oh, he's going to get hurt because if I did, I'd get hurt. Yeah. That it's just self-reflection. That's all it is.
Yeah, 100%. Totally agree.
So what would you say to that struggling dad or mum?
Yeah, I think
communication.
I think communication is the number one thing. Like, you can't get anywhere without communicating. Like, your relationship is not going to be the same without communication. If you just leave the house with 5 minutes notice and say, I'm going for a run, it's like, some days that's okay because maybe you might be struggling, but I think you won't be struggling if you have that good communication every single day. So that's good. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, me and my wife, we talk about everything, and that's why I'm up till 10 or 11 o'clock at night, because the only time we have to really connect and talk to each other is in bed.
Yeah.
And so that's when we sit up, and even if we're watching a movie or whatever, or we have those conversations of, okay, well, what are you doing this week? How does your month look and stuff like that? So
I think
communication is the number one thing. Young people struggle with it a lot, especially my age and your age. Yep, because it's all done over the phone and mixed messaging and emojis and all that bullshit. It's just,
it has its place, but when it comes to intimacy, I think it
doesn't work.
It doesn't. My partner.
True intimacy.
Like, our partner and I, we're fine, but we try to make exactly what you do because of the kids, because of all the external factors. Yeah. We try to make an effort to really put in that work not for me to put in the work with running or anything like that. Put in the work with her. Yeah. I like, as I said before, before we did this episode at the start, like, life is an ultra marathon. Life is an endurance event. Yep. And you're just going to keep pushing, and that's whatever you do, it's always going to be hard, but you've got to work and work towards it.
Yeah, and I'm sure your partner's the exact same as mine, is where she has been home with the kids all day, you just say, and you've come home from work and she's really struggling and her cup is half full. It's like, all right, well, you need to get out of the house. I'll take over from here. Just go out and go for a walk or go for a run. Yeah. And, like, just doing that little gesture of her getting out of the house for 20 minutes can save that father, a whole night worth of pain. I'm being honest. As funny as it is, I'm being honest. Yeah.
I know exactly what. But I won't say that on the episode because I'll get in trouble. Oh man,
honesty.
No, it is. But that's beautiful. It's beautiful that you are aware of that and you are you are.
And don't get me wrong, I struggled with it, and I still do struggle with it some days because I'm a very forgetful person, and I'm always thinking about. I have so many things going on, trying to support income for the family, trying to do this, trying to organize this, organize that. It's like, I do forget about certain things sometimes, and that's okay to forget. But I think the communication is, you got to be able to, without your wife or partner being able to say to you, hey, I need a break, you need to go, oh, you look like you need some time out, just go for a walk or go do a meditation, something like that.
So to sort of, eventually land, like, we're coming down from a high altitude and we're going to land this soon. How's your mental health? How are you feeling? Are you still suffering like you were? Are you good now? What's happening? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good.
Yeah. A lot of people ask me if I'm okay, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I have a good time doing everything. I never really feel, I don't know. I never really feel anything besides happy.
Good.
I get annoyed sometimes.
Oh,
but
humans do.
I don't think I get angry at all. Not as much anyway. But yeah, overall I'm okay. I don't really, as long as I'm doing my exercise and stuff like that, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like I don't have much problems with that outside of. I've never struggled with mental health. Like besides gaining that weight and that one specific sad moment, you know, that the couple of weeks leading into that, which I don't really fully remember besides the end moment, because I was so like out of it all the time, and don't know what mental health is, so I can't speak to people who have had mental health. So for me, I've never really had depression, and because I've always had this attitude of, oh, you don't like me, who cares?
That's good.
So I've always had that big F you attitude. Like, you don't have to hang out with me, you don't have to follow me, you don't have to do X, Y, and Z. So I'm good.
You're a free spirit.
Yeah, I'm just like, you don't like me? That's cool. I don't need you. It's okay.
You're Corey.
Yeah.
Phillpot, and that's it.
That's it.
So to land this, I think we're pretty spot on for time. For the guy, the girl, the person, the baby, the child, wanting to take that leap to the next stage of their life. Doesn't have to be a quantum leap like you did with just 0 to 100.
Yeah.
You know, for the person that wants to do their first half marathon, the person that wants to do their first 50K, 100K, 100 mile, whatever it is, what is your, and I love ending it on this.
Yeah.
What is your, guidance for them? What is that little takeaway key point that you can give anybody that wants to do that?
I think anything, even if it's not a marathon or a half marathon, if you're thinking about doing something that you want to do, this is where it comes back to the selfish part. Don't think about any other factors outside of you wanting to do that, and just do it. Just do it. And then think about your training. And then think about everything else after that. Just go, oh, shit, I've signed up for this marathon. It's 3 months away. Okay, what do I need to do? Because I think a lot of people sit there and they procrastinate and they say, oh, okay, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to do that? They think about it too long and they start planning things. And I just think that you just got to dive in. You just got to do it. Otherwise, sometimes you will never do it. I think there's a lot that can come from that.
Cool. I like that.
And trust the process.
Trust the process.
That's my number one saying, is trust the process.
There's
always going to be hiccups. As long as you have trust in the process and you've got a plan, everything will be okay.
Boom. I think that's a perfect way to bring this down and land this. Man, thank you so much for, you drove from, I know you're here for a couple of days, but, to make time out of your little getaway down here.
No, I appreciate you bringing me on.
Up here.
Yeah, when I started listening to your podcast, I was like, I need to do this one in person.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And, I love having conversations like this because it compared to other podcasts, I want to get the person on, not the athlete, not the social media persona. I want to get Corey on.
Yeah, for sure.
And, of course we touched on what you're going to do, but I don't think for my audience that sort of paints the picture for them. It's getting you on, the family man, the real core of Corey, and that's what I want to try get. That we're all humans. We're not superhumans. I'm still a struggling father sometimes, and I've got a nice successful podcast. We're all humans, and we're all just living this experience for what it is and doing it every single day. Yep. No future, no past. It is what it is right now.
That's it. Can I add something on?
Yeah, go for it.
I just want to say the key, I forgot about this completely.
Go for it.
The key to the ultra mindset is from my coach, Marcus Smith. He's one of the most amazing people I've ever met. I actually haven't met him, but he's the most amazing person I ever speak to.
This will be your quote for the TikTok segment.
For the TikTok segment. The key to the ultra mindset is admit, reject, relax, what now? Admit that something's going wrong. reject it. Say that nothing is going wrong and I'm okay. Relax. Take a deep breath. Everything's going to be fine. What now? What can you do right now to get through and push through to the end? Let's go. The keys to the ultra mindset.
Boom. That's beautiful.
It. Yeah.
All right,
That's something you taught me. It's something I always think about daily.
That was good.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right.
Thanks for having me on.
Peace.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.